Fat Joe in the house.
Yes.
Bronx, from the Bronx.
BX, let's go
right.
Yankees. Let's go Yankees! Woo!
Fat Joe, I got to admit, when I was introduced to you many years ago, you looked a lot different than right now. Are you still
look
Fat
more
Joe?
handsome now.
You are more handsome now.
All right, thank you, brother.
But are you still... You're not Fat Joe anymore.
Yeah, I lost a lot of weight, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stick around, man.
Okay.
Life's so beautiful.
Tell me about that journey. I think a lot of people can connect with that.
Well, I lost a lot of weight. You know, I think I went at it in 2 different layers. You know, I lost a lot of friends of mine at a young age, especially Big Pun. And I lost maybe 150 pounds, and then I went back at it again and lost like maybe another 100, 150.
Jesus. Is that the hardest thing you've done? Is getting to the hip-hop industry the hardest thing you've done? What's the hardest thing you've done?
Well, the hardest thing I've done is trying to get a law passed in Washington, D.C. for healthcare price transparency. That's been my hardest.
It was easier to lose 250 pounds than get a law passed in Washington?
Yeah, you know, you just want to live. For me, I've done it for so long already that it's just a way of life. You know, we cut carbs whenever. We eat defensively now, so we stay off the rice, off the pasta, off the, you know, and work out, you know, and stay active.
Okay.
And, you know, but, you know, getting a law passed in Washington is harder than losing 250 pounds.
That's not defense, that's offense.
That's major offense.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I went to Washington, D.C., a journalist met me at the stairs. Was like, Fat Joe, what are you doing here? I was like, yo, I'm coming to get this stuff. She was like, good luck. That's never going to happen in Washington.
Yeah.
But we've been getting a great reception. We started with one politician. I believe it was Guthrie from Kentucky. Okay. Now, last time I went over there, I had about 90, 100 congressmen and senators there. And we supporting Senator Bernie Sanders' bill for healthcare price transparency. Okay. So, you know, this is the only thing you go anywhere in the world and you don't get a price for. Right. There's over 100 million Americans in debt due to healthcare price transparency. So it's real in every family. And so you want to create a system where they tell you the prices so we can know where we go. Like if we know we're going for an MRI, believe it or not, there's people going to the same hospitals every day, getting the same procedure by the same doctor. Somebody's paying $12,000, somebody's paying $2,000, somebody's paying $5,000. It ain't even discrimination. It's just highway robbery.
Right. You don't see. It'd be interesting if the doctor came in.
No,
and you sit with that little menu. I mean, MRI, you want a hip replacement, but they don't do that.
You just want to create a competitive system.
Okay.
To where, like anything else, you want to know, you look at your 3 leading hospitals in your area and get it for the right price.
And that's what Power to the Patients advocates for?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me exactly what Power to the Patients is.
Power to the Patients is an organization that's fighting for the American people. You know, our 2 founders, Kevin Moore and Cynthia Fisher, Cynthia had employees that worked for her for 20 years and never bothered her about anything. And finally, she sees the gentleman crying, and he was like so embarrassed to tell her he don't know whether to send his daughter to college or pay for his wife's hospital bill.
Oh, man, right.
And so there's actually people, I come from the Bronx, there's people afraid to go to the hospital to get health coverage because they're afraid of what the price is going to be in the long run, because this is like you just pulling in the hat, coming out with whatever. Yeah. So that's why you see people limping across the street, you see people struggling, and then it just like a snow plows, and before you know it, you're in real trouble.
So if you get the change that you're advocating for, a patient would now know the upfront costs at various hospitals of a procedure?
As well as enforcing it.
Okay.
Right.
And that's key.
We hate to admit it, but Donald Trump passed a similar law.
Okay.
Right? But they never enforced it.
We don't say that stuff here.
No, I'm just telling you.
Just kidding. Of course. Yes. No, yeah.
I'm obviously not a Trumper, but, you know, he passed a similar law, which is not as strong as Senator Braun or Bernie Sanders, but they never enforced it.
Right.
So the hospitals got to wait with still moving the way they're moving.
You got to have the press release, you got to have the headline moment, but they didn't actually enforce that. So if a patient knows what these things cost, they can make a more educated decision. Because I got to be honest,
Absolutely.
I go to the hospital and you kind of check in. I have insurance. I'm one of the lucky people that, and then I leave. I get some shit in the mail that has a huge number on it, but I don't even pay that. I always just feel like it's the secret language between the hospital and the insurance company.
Man, let me tell you something. There's a guy who went to the hospital for an EpiPen and they charged him $18,000.
Right.
He went online and saw it for like $100 online.
Yeah, I think there's a guy in my subway stop that'll give it to him for 25 bucks.
Hey, maybe that's the guy who's selling me my Ozempic.
Well, and I want to talk to you in a second about talking to Vice President Kamala Harris, but you mentioned Ozempic and astonishingly a reversed diagnosis of your type 2 diabetes. Is that
Yes.
right? Can you share that?
Well, I don't give all credit to that.
Right.
But 12 years old, I was diabetic, juvenile diabetes. I never knew in the hood that you could actually lose weight and get rid of the diabetes. They never told me that.
I don't think a lot of people understand that.
Nah, they was just giving me insulin.
Yeah.
And for years, so once I started losing the weight, the 150 pounds of this, I'm working out twice a day. My doctor tells me one day, you don't have diabetes, you don't have to take the insulin. I wind up arguing with my doctor, like, yo, give me my insulin, you trying to kill me? Like, nah, you're doing great, you got rid of the weight, you don't need. And then recently, in the last maybe like 2 years or something like that, the doctor was like, well, you ain't working out 2 times a day no more, Joe. You got to take some Ozempic. Okay. And so due to diabetes, you know, and blood sugars, you know, I've been on that Ozempic.
Okay. Great. And you're healthy and strong and good. You're looking good.
I feel great.
Yeah. Okay, great. Let's talk about... It's funny when a doctor gives you good news, we start questioning, you know, him or her. I always look at the diploma on the wall. Where exactly did they go? You know, Costa Rica. Oh shit!
I have the coolest doctor in the world, Dr. Gene Nateman down in Miami. He saved my life. Wow. And so I go in there and hang out with him and just talk and hang out in the office with him and you know, just he's like a buddy.
That's awesome.
And what the problem is when you invite your doctor for Thanksgiving dinner. One night he came to my house and I ate like 2 olives for Thanksgiving dinner. Looking at me, I'm like,
that's
like this, you know, damn, doc.
Yeah, I know.
You're stinking up the place.
You just had an opportunity at the BET Hip Hop Awards to interview Vice President Kamala Harris. How did it go, first of all?
It went great.
Yeah. Politicians, I don't want to say struggle. Maybe they're confused or maybe they try very hard to reach the black and brown men community. What can they do? Are they doing the right stuff?
I would think so. It depends on what, you know, you're looking for, you know. And some people, of course, the black and brown community has been disenfranchised for many, many years. But the men, I don't know. You know, this race just boils down to, will a man vote for a woman?
Right.
That's all it boils down to. I've read the analytics in every which way, shape, or form. It's an obvious person to vote for. Now, are you going to be man enough to vote for a woman?
Right. I like that. I like that. What I like about you, Fat Joe, is not every artist is willing to share opinions like that because there's a lot of people that buy music, but you
know, I'm a businessman.
Right.
And so every time I say stuff like this, the minute I said that, I said, okay, I'm gonna get threatened by my Republican partners. I mean, they get furious. I don't even gotta say nothing. They see me, you know, I have friends on the Republican side who want to save money in taxes. Yeah. And then I think about where I came from and the less fortunate people and women's reproductive rights and so forth. And so my heart leans morally to where I gotta be. So, but every time I say it,
Your new talk series, Fat Joe Talks.
That's right.
You talk to celebrities like Method Man, but also politicians like Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, well, tell me, is it important to talk to, did you tackle all different types of people on purpose?
Well, you know, yeah, for sure. Fat Joe Talks.
And I'm available.
Fat Joe Talks.
Fat Joe.
A lot. And so, you know, I get into it with Hakeem Jeffries, the leader, and I asked him if the aliens were real.
Okay.
I mean, this guy would know, right? I'm like, yo, tell me about the aliens, man.
Right.
And so I'm just having fun and just interviewing icons. This week it's on the Starz network. Go get the app. Yep. We got Mary J. Blige this week. We got Strictly Icons. And my platform is all about inspiration. Bringing inspiration and positive vibes to the young. It's crazy. I did an interview earlier with a newspaper out in L.A., and they were asking me about the show. And I'm like, this is positivity. We tell you our story, where we came from, all the adversity, how we get through it. We bringing up the youth so they can be inspired and they can see that it's possible. And then my publicist gets on the phone and says, you got time for one more question? The woman asks me the most controversial question you heard in your life. I said, miss, I've been talking to you for half an hour. Haven't you heard me? See, a good journalist is a good listener.
Yeah.
You got to listen to the talent.
What'd you say? I'm sorry. You got to listen. So, wait, but Fat Joe likes to talk. So are you doing talking? Are you doing listening? You're doing everything.
I'm doing a little bit of both because I really like to talk.
Yeah.
And so
you're good at it.
Yeah, I'm really good at it. And I like to jump in, but I learned.
Right.
I learned how to just let the artist, the person talk, give me their perspective, and then I lean in. But normally, you won't get one word in the house. And if you ever heard of this guy called DJ Khaled, you won't get a word in.
Yeah. Well,
me and DJ, I can't. He's like, yo. Like, hey, yo. Like,
all he's saying is his name over and over again.
Oh, no, yeah, it's Khaled.
I don't get to talk to a lot of hip-hop stars, so I got to ask you, when I see a video and everybody's got the money, is that real money on set? Is that fake money?
Actually, I think it's fake money.
Yeah, okay.
Most of the times.
Okay.
So my wife told me, we got back I hosted the BET Hip Hop Awards, and I did my song Make It Rain, so these girls were throwing like money. And so my wife said, I found a bunch of money in your pocket. I said, yeah, did you look at it? She looked at it, it had Fat Joe's face on it. I said, that ain't gonna get you gonna get you a candy bar.
Right. I love that. You haven't had a solo album in 14 years.
Yeah.
All right, now, you're working with healthcare reform to have more healthcare transparency. Can you be transparent with us? Is there a new Fat Joe album coming out?
Yes, there is. It's called The World Changed On Me.
Oh, shit! It's almost like I knew it. What's it called?
It's called The World Changed On Me.
Oh, The World Changed.
So I feel like I'm the last ungentrified rapper. I got the bodega. I got the bodega on the block, and hell no, we won't go. And we just gonna keep this real hip-hop alive. So The World Changed On Me is pretty amazing.
I look forward to it. Thank you for chatting with us.
Thank you so much, man.
Check out powertothepatients.org, and new episodes of Fat Joe Talks air Fridays on Starz.